morning, lovely yogis. Welcome to Shangri-La Hot Yoga, live yoga on Facebook. My name is Melissa. Maybe you joined me for our 45-minute power flow on Friday. Today it's going to be a lot different. Today we're doing gentle flow. With gentle flow, we're going to go a lot slower. We're going to stretch it out. So it's really a great way to start the week. Maybe you had a stressful week last week. I know a lot of us have a lot going on in our lives, and it's really good to decompress with a class like this, where you're just like letting it all go, trying to get rid of everything from outside of your practice space. There is a lot of options for blocks or props here. Remember, you can get unique. So at home, if you have books, you have water bottles, you have a scarf that you want to use as a strap, there's lots of ways that you can have blocks without purchasing them. Also, if you are on a hard surface, we will be on our knees a lot. So I would recommend grabbing a blanket or anything like that just to place on the mat to put your knees down onto, or else, sometimes they can get a little bit sore. But like I said, this is gentle flow. So making sure to do it as feels good for you. So maybe you want to do things nice and slow today and go a little bit, do a little bit less. If you are an advanced yogi, and you want to add on, I will be doing modified chaturanga. So if you want to do a full chaturanga instead, please do so. This is your practice. If you want to make it a little bit more spicy, I totally encourage it. And we're going to get started today lying down on our backs in a shavasana. So you're going to lie all the way down onto your mat, and you're going to take lots of space. So get super comfortable here. Legs come out wide, arms come out wide. If you have any low back pain, you're welcome to take the soles of the feet onto the mat with the feet out wide, and then let the knees fall in towards each other. So that's just going to help relieve a little bit of that pain in your low back. So find which variation feels best for you. Your palms can be facing up, opening the heart to the ceiling, and then taking your first couple of breaths to settle in. So we always use those first few breaths just to kind of check in with our body, check in with our mind, taking note of how everything is feeling this morning. We're going to do a full body scan here. So we're going to start at our toes and just see how our toes are doing. And then going up to the feet and kind of noticing the muscles. And is there anything else that you can let go, trying to release everything. Taking it up into the ankles, the shins and the calves, the quads, your hamstrings. Are you squeezing the glutes? Can you let those go? Relaxing the core, and then making our way up the spine towards the shoulders. Try to roll the shoulders back and down, allowing them to soften into the ground. And then going down the arms to the hands. From here, making your way up the neck to the face. Are there muscles in your face that you can let go of? So try to unpurse the lips, relax the jaw, unfurrow your brows. Every single muscle lets go here. Then I like to start practice with some cleansing breaths. It's going to help us get rid of anything from outside of this space that's followed us here. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, fill up all the way to the top. Open the mouth, clear it out. Big breath in. Full breath out. Deep inhale. Release. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Fullest breath in yet. Hold at the top of that breath. Try to take one more little sip of air in. And then open the mouth, clear it all out. And try to melt a little bit more into your mat. And from here, you can find a natural breath, or you can take your Ujjayi breath. Closing the lips, breathing in and out through the nose. Taking a slight constriction to the back of your throat. And then find a couple of breaths here, making each one a little bit longer than the last. We're going to fully fill up the belly and the chest with every breath in. And then release it all to the bottom with every breath out. Awareness comes back to our body. And start to find little movements back into the fingers, the toes, taking those movements into the arms and the legs, starting to wake everything up here, preparing ourselves for some movements. And then with a breath in, reach the arms nice and long above you. Take a full body stretch, point the toes, lengthen everything out. So you're going to reach out a little bit more. Then an exhale, pull the knees into the chest, curl the spine, round into a tight little ball. The nose comes up to the knees, hug everything in here. Pull the navel to the spine, keep the core nice and tight. And we're going to flow through that breath to movement. Inhale, open up, reach. Exhale, curl. 2 more times, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hug. Last one, big breath in. Let it out. Put the knees into the chest. Start to take some circles with the knees. You're going to let the shoulders soften down to the ground. And then take those little movements in one direction and the other. Feel that nice massage on your low back, your sacrum. And then we'll pause at center here. And then from center, we're just going to do a little bit of hip opening here to begin. So you're going to keep the right knee in towards the chest. You can either place the left foot onto the mat, or if it feels good for you, you can lengthen that left leg all the way out. If this is too much, you can always wrap something around the shin and hold that there as well. And then just start to pull the knee in nice and tight. Remember, sole of the foot can be onto the mat here if the leg out long doesn't feel good for you. Just depends on how you're feeling this morning, how tight your hips are feeling. And then maybe you find some movements with your ankles. So point and flex the foot and find some circles. Just trying to open up every little muscle here. Again, some little circles with that foot. Pulling that knee a little bit tighter. Good. From here, we're going to take our hands to the back of our thigh. And just slightly straighten the leg up towards the ceiling. It's okay if that leg is not fully straight. We're trying to target our hamstring here now. So flex the foot, toes are curling back towards the shin. Roll the shoulders back into the ground. Most important part is not having the leg straight, right? The leg can be nice and bent. We're still nice and tight. So straight legs are never necessary in yoga. You can always have a soft bend here. Just pulling that thigh in a little bit closer to our body. One more full breath. And so slowly release that leg, find some movement. So let it come out long, shake it out, take some circles, anything that you need to let go. And then we're going to switch sides. You can place the sole of the foot on the ground or reach out long. And then we're going to take the left knee in towards our chest. So sole foot down or leg out long, your choice here, whichever feels better. Pulling that knee in nice and tight, hugging it towards the chest, and then finding movements with the foot. Circling it out in one direction and the other. Maybe you crack the ankle a little bit. It's still early, right? Maybe you just woke up and your body's still getting there. And then pulling that knee in just a little bit tighter here. Moving on, we're going to take the hands behind the thigh. And we're going to lengthen that leg up towards the ceiling. Remember, we do not have to have the leg completely straight. Just imagine that you want to try to press the heel as much as possible up towards the roof. And then flex and curl the toes back towards the shin. The ultimate goal is that our toes meet the shin, right? Just kidding, it's not going to happen, right? Unless we grow out our toenails super long. And then pulling that leg in a little bit tighter, hugging it in, keeping that soft bend in your knee. Stretching through the hamstring. One more breath. And then slowly release, shake it out. Find your movements. Let it go. All right. From here, we're gonna grab the backs of our thighs. We're gonna make our way up to a seat. So that means you're gonna rock forward and backwards a couple of times. Find some momentum here. And then maybe on that third or fourth rock, we're gonna meet our comfortable seat up at the top. So cross the legs. And then hands can come down to the thighs just for a second. Just to check in here, noticing how you're feeling after that first little bit of stretching. And then we'll soften the arms down beside us. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way up to the ceiling, lengthen up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Pause for a moment, the hands at the heart. Maybe close the eyes and take a second to find an intention for your practice. Someone you want to dedicate this practice to, or something you want to get out of it. A certain way you want to feel when you leave. And then take a big breath in. Clear it all out. Good, opening the eyes back up. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, right hand comes down to the ground. Come into a little side body stretch. Bicep comes alongside the ear. The gaze can lift towards the ceiling for a little bit more. Notice that left hip is tempted to lift. Try to root back down through the left hip as you reach up and over with the arm and stretch out. Inhale, sweep the hand back high. Exhale, left hand down, reach over towards the side. We're just going to stretch through that side body, lengthen out. Always using our breath in to lift up just a little bit. And then our breath out to deepen into that stretch. Really stretch out our right side body. Inhale, sweep back up. Another exhale, we're going to take our left hand to our right knee and our right hand behind us. Find a little twist. So we're just trying to open up our spine in every direction here. Use the hand behind you just to lengthen up a little bit more towards the ceiling. So you're reaching up through the crown of the head. And then with every breath out, pull the navel in, tight core, to twist just a little bit deeper. Inhale, sweep up to center. Exhale, right hand to left knee, left hand behind us. All your breath ins you use to lift up, to lengthen, and then breath out, come a little bit deeper into that twist. Try to roll the shoulders down, away from the ears, but lift up through the spine. Full breath in, reach up, lengthen. And then with the breath out, the hands are going to come down to the knees. Inhale, open up the chest, lift the gaze, seated cow. Exhale, round the spine, pull away from the knees, seated cat. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, open up. Exhale, curl. Last one, inhale, broaden the chest. Exhale, round the spine. Come back to your neutral spine. So we're going to go through those movements, breath to movement here. So just listen carefully. Arms soften down beside us. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, right hand comes down to the mat, side bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands down to the knees. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, round the spine. We're doing that just 1 time. We'll come back to center. We're going to do it 1 more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, grab the knees. Inhale, open up. Exhale, curl. And then come back to your neutral spine here. We're just gonna roll over the knees. You can always place the knees off to the side here. And we're just gonna meet into our stable table. So shoulders will be right above our wrists and our hips right above our knees. We're only pausing here for a moment. Pull the navel nice and tight into the spine. And then we'll reach forward with the crown of the head, making sure we're pressing into the fingertips, making the hands nice and strong. Taking the weight out of the wrist. It's going to come in handy when we come to our downward facing dog. And then we're going to tuck our toes here. Take a full breath in. Another breath out. Slowly start to lift the hips up to your downward facing dog. This is our first down dog of our practice. So find movement. Shake it out. Bend into one knee, then the other. Maybe the calves and the hamstrings are still feeling a little bit tight here. So this movement just helps us to get out any of the tightness in our body. We can nod the head yes and no. Try to relax the neck. And then eventually we'll meet back in our downward facing dog. Try to place the weight into the fingertips. Spread the hands out nice and wide. Maybe the knuckles are slightly lifting up. And then we're going to keep a soft bend in our knees. Remember what I said earlier, you never have to have straight legs in yoga. Having a soft bend helps bring a little bit more space into our low back. And then press the heels down towards the ground. Stretch through the calf muscles. Let the head hang heavy. We're going to find a little bit of a stretch here. So bend nice and deep into your right knee. So bend, bend, bend. Maybe the left heel comes down towards the ground because you're bending so much. Stretching out through the left leg. And then coming back to center, switching sides. Bend nice and deep through the left leg. Press the right heel down towards the ground, keeping our upper body in that downward facing dog shape. And then come back to center from here. We're going to soften the knees. We're going to look forward. And then we're just going to step the feet up towards the hands, meeting in our forward fold. And I recommend starting with the feet out at hips width apart, at least at first. Bring a little bit more space into our hips. Inhale, halfway lift, hands meet shins. Reach forward through the crown of the head. If this is too much, hands can come to thighs. That's going to bring a little bit more support here. Most important part is flat back. So pull the belly in and then reach forward through the head. Keep the gaze down to the ground. Big breath in. Breath out, bend the knees, fold forward. Pausing here with the knees bent nice and deep. Hands grab opposite elbows for ragdoll. Sway back and forth, find some movements. Shake the head, yes and no. Anything that you might need here. Trying to release all the muscles in the spine, the neck, the face. So we're relaxing the spine all the way down towards the ground. Keep the knees nice and soft. Then we'll meet back at center, hands relaxed towards the ground. Keep that bend in your knees here. Tuck the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, slowly lift the spine up to standing, feeling every little movement as you rise. We want our head to be the last thing. We're having a race to see who's the last one that can come up. So slowly as possible, up to your mountain pose. Roll the shoulders back in together. Palms face forward. Pull the kneecaps up, engage the quads. Pull the navel in nice and tight. Press the fingertips down towards the ground. Open the chest. So roll the shoulders back in together. Big breath in, reach up high. Lengthen to your high mountain. Pause for a moment. Spiral the pinky fingers in. We want to do this when we're having our hands up high. It's going to help us to engage our triceps. Full breath in. Breath out. Right hand is going to come down towards the thigh. Come into a little side body stretch. So just slightly press the hips over towards the left. Reach up and over with the arm. Really similar to what we did when we were seated. Inhale, rise up to the center. Exhale, left hand comes down. Hips come over towards the right this time. Lift up the gaze for a little bit more. Keep that navel nice and tight. Keep our core engaged. Inhale, sweep up. Then for exhale, we're going to cactus the arms. We're going to open the chest, a little back bend here. Squeeze the shoulders together. You can lift the gaze for a little bit more here as well. If that feels okay in the neck, keeping the low back nice and long, but pulling the belly in a little bit more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Keep a soft bend in the knees as you fold. Find a flat back here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Good from our forward fold. Bend the knees till the hands plant down, and then just slowly step the feet back to a plank, but we're gonna lower the knees down. So this is our modified plank here, and we're gonna be doing modified plank the entire time. Remember what I said in the beginning, if you want to, you can spice it up with your full chaturangas and your full planks. Making sure the shoulders are right above the wrists, and then pulling the navel in, squeezing the glutes here. Pressing away from the ground, lifting the back of the heart towards the ceiling. So strengthening your shoulders. Notice the difference here when I dump down and then when I press away and I strengthen. And then with an inhale, we're going to reach out forward, shift forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, hug them in nice and tight. And then slowly lower all the way down. From here, have the hands next to the chest. Point the toes to the back of the room. Root the feet. All right, inhale, lift the chest up. Baby cobra, squeeze the shoulder blades together, gaze is down at the ground. Rooting the feet so much, maybe the kneecaps slightly lift. Chest does not have to lift very much, right? Just slightly lifting it up, lengthening through the neck. Inhale. Exhale, lower it down. We're gonna do it 2 times, breath to movement. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, soften. Last one, big breath in. Breath out, lower it down. From here, press into the palms. Inhale, come up to your tabletop. Exhale, sink it back to your child's pose. Couple of breaths here in our child's pose. Relaxing the forehead into the ground, maybe rocking the head back and forth. Settling the hips back towards the heels. And that's going to be our chaturanga. So just like we did it before, we're going to modify it with our knees, lowering down. We're going to do a baby cobra, and then we're going to come back to our child's pose. So if there's any other variations you would like to take, please do so. From here, inhale, lift up to tabletop. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips high, downward facing dog. Or move through that just a little bit faster. It'll all be familiar movements. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, find your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. One big movement this time. Inhale, root to rise, high mountain. Exhale, right hand comes down. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, touch the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant the palms down. Inhale, step back to your high plank. Lower the knees. Exhale, bend the elbows. Hug them in, lower all the way. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift the chest, baby cobra. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose of choice. Knees can be wide or together. 2 breaths here. You can always come back to open mouth exhales at any point if you need to release some heat. Inhale, stable table. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, melt down. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale, center. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, cactus. Open the chest. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold down. Listen carefully this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and pause. We're going to keep the right foot forward. With a breath in, we're going to step the left foot to the back of the mat. Find our lunge. From here, lower the knee down. So this part comes in handy. If you have a blanket and you're on something hard, place that blanket underneath the knee. It's going to help you find some support there. You can keep those back toes tucked or untucked, your choice. And we're going to grab our blocks if you have them, or a book or anything like that. It's okay if you don't, you can just reach for the ground here. And then with a breath in, we're going to lengthen out the leg. We're going to come to our half splits. That means you're flexing the toes back towards the shin. Roll the shoulders back. We're going to find that breath to movement. With a breath out, we're going to bend back into the knee. We're going to come back to that lunge. Inhale, straighten out. Exhale, lunge. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. This time, we're going to root down through the foot. Fingertips get nice and light. Inhale, rise up to our high crescent. If this is uncomfortable, you can have the knee as support. So you can always place the hands onto the shin, or not the shin, sorry, the thigh, and then press away. So that's option one. And then if you're feeling ready, your core is engaged, you come up to that full high crescent. See if you can lift the toes up, wiggle them a little bit, but settle into the thigh. And we're going to find a little bit of movement. So with a breath in, reach slightly out, lengthen. And with a breath out, bend into the knee, cactus arms open up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lunge. One more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come up to your low crescent. Exhale, hands come down, frame the foot. From here, we're going to tuck the back toes, and we're going to lift that knee up, so find our engagement. And we're step the foot back, find our plank, but lower the knees down. So we're just lifting the knee to find a little bit of space. Inhale, shift slightly forward. Exhale, hug the elbows in, lower chaturanga. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. 2 breaths. Inhale, come up to your tabletop. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips high, downward facing dog. We'll do all that on our second side. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, left. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, sweep high. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This time our left foot stays forward. Breath in, right foot steps to the back of the mat. And lower the knee down. Remember, you can grab the blocks if you have some at home. If not, you can use water bottles, books, or you can just have the hands onto the ground. Inhale, lengthen out the leg. Find your half splits. Just for a moment, you can keep that bend into the knee. Make sure you're pulling the toes towards the shin. Exhale, bend back into the knee, come back to that low lunge. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten out. Exhale, lunge in. Last one, big breath in. Breath out, come back. Making sure our knee is above or slightly behind the ankle here, right? That's gonna help us feel more supported. Squeeze the glutes for engagement. You can either walk the hands up to the thigh or reach all the way up to that low crescent lunge. Settling into the pose, finding where it feels good for you, making sure that you're pulling the navel in, and then you're reaching up to lengthen towards the ceiling. All right, here we move. So if you have the hands on the thigh, you can always stay there, or you can come up to that low crescent. Big breath in. Breath out, settle, lunge, cactus. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hug. One more time, big breath in. Breath out, find your edge. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands come down. From here, remember I said you could tuck the toes and lift the knee. There is option to keep it down and just slide that knee back into our plank. So whichever way you want to, find your way back into that supported plank. Big breath in. Breath out, bend the elbows, hug them in lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, stable table. Exhale, child's pose. 2 big breaths. Then come back up to your tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. From here, we're gonna go through that a little bit faster. So we're gonna go right to movement, which just means we're gonna go a little bit quicker. We're gonna get our heart rate going a little bit. So go at your own pace, take modifications as you need to. You're always welcome to skip the chaturangas, all right? So coming back to our downward facing dog here. From our down dog, inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. You choose how to get there. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold, right foot forward. Inhale, left foot back. Exhale, lower the knee. Remember, you can grab blocks if you need to. Inhale, straighten out, half split. Exhale, bend. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Root into the foot, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, rise. Exhale, cactus, settle. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lunge. Last one, big breath in. Breath out, bend. Inhale, low crescent. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, high plank. You choose how to get there. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, open up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Just one breath. I'm going to continue movement. Here we go. Second side. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, soften the knees, look forward. Exhale, choose your way to the top. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, right hand down. Real familiar, been here a few times. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hug those shoulders. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold, left foot forward. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale, knee comes down. Inhale, straighten out. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lunge. Final one, big breath in. Breath out, come back to our lunge. Root down, squeeze up through the thighs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hug it and settle. Inhale, reach. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, sweep high. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, step it back. Exhale, flow through. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower the chest. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, settle back. Good, this time we're here for a couple more breaths to stay in that child's pose. You can find open mouth exhales here. If you feel like you built up a lot of heat, you can feel that heart rate going a little bit. That is a little bit of our cardio when we do breath to movement. So take a full breath in. Open the mouth, clear it out. We're gonna do that one more time all together. Deep breath in. Side out. You're probably in your house by yourself, so make lots of noise. There's no one to impress or embarrass, I guess, except for yourself. Or maybe your cat or your dog, but they probably love you either way. All right, and we're in our child's pose. Couple more breaths here before we continue movement. A big breath in. We're going to lift back up to our tabletop. We're going to continue some movement here. Exhale, tuck the toes and lift the hips to your downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands together. All right, we're gonna do a couple of balancing poses here in between. So just working our balance, making sure to keep the gaze at the ground for the most support. If you feel like you have problems with your balance, keeping your gaze at an unmoving point really helps. So we're gonna root down first through our left foot. We're gonna spread the toes out nice and wide. Hands stay at heart center to begin. Take the right foot, you can bring it to either the ankle, the shin, or all the way up to the inner thigh. So just finding our tree pose here. You choose, ankle, shin, or inner thigh. Just make sure you're pressing the foot into the leg and the leg into the foot with equal kind of power, just to help create a little bit of a suction and to make you feel more stable. It's okay if you're a little wavy here, right? Trees, we tend to sway a little bit in the wind, so that's all right. You can stay here if you want to. You can build your branches. It means you can maybe reach them up if you're feeling it. You can find your version of your tree. You can wave it around, maybe find a little cactus. It's completely your choice here how you want your tree to look. Squeeze the glutes here. It's going to help you feel a little bit more stable. You can keep a soft bend into your left knee for support. 2 more breaths. Last one. All right, let it go. Shake it out. We're going to do one more little balance here on that side. So with the hands at heart center, inhale, lift the knee up, one leg mountain pose. So left foot down, right knee up. And then we're going to exhale, we're going to sweep that leg back. We're going to find our warrior 3. So very traditional balancing pose here. Try to flex the toes down towards the ground. Make sure the pinky toe is rolling down. Maybe squeeze in the glute. Try to lift the heel up a little bit higher. Hands can stay at heart. You can fly them back or reach them forward. So you choose here what feels the best for you. Lift the chest up like you're finding a little upward facing dog. So keeping that chest nice and open. Full breath. Don't let that breath go. Keep the gaze at the ground. Last one. All right, with an inhale, we're going to lift back up. Take a second to shake it out. Maybe that outer hip is yelling a little bit. And switching sides. We're going to root through our right foot this time. Hands at heart center. The foot comes to the ankle, the shin, or the inner thigh. So maybe it's a little bit different on this side. Maybe you have some differences, and that's okay. Our balance is usually a little bit easier on one than the other. So stay right here. Or build the branches, coming a little bit deeper, reaching up. You can be a different tree than you were last time. It doesn't have to be the same tree. Keep the gaze to the ground for the most support, and then maybe challenging yourself by looking up. Pull the navel in, reach up through the crown of the head. One more breath. All right, let it go, shake it out. One more balance on that side. Root back through the right foot, hands at heart to begin. Inhale, lift the left knee up, one leg mountain pose. Exhale, sweep it back, warrior three. Pausing, pointing the toes down, lifting up through the chest. Roll the shoulders back and together. Squeeze the glute, lift that heel up a little bit higher. Keep a soft bend in your right knee for more support here. Gaze is down slightly forward. One more full breath. Good, inhale, rise. Shake it up. All right, now we're gonna continue moving here. Inhale, reach up, high mountain. Exhale, sink down into your chair. So bend the knees, sit the hips low. You can have the hands at heart center for a little bit more, reaching biceps alongside ears. So we're just challenging our thighs a little bit by building on. Weight is into the heels, out of the toes. Chest nice and open. Sit back a little bit deeper. One more breath. Another breath out, we're gonna fold forward. Lengthen out the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Palms down, inhale, step it back. Lower the knees. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift up the chest. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, stable table. Exhale, child's pose. One big breath. Let it out. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do one more little flow before we bring it down and start to slow it down. From our downward facing dog, with an inhale, you're going to lift your right leg up for a three-leg dog. So flex that foot, point the toes down towards the ground. Full breath in here. Another breath out, you're going to start to bend into that knee. You're going to bring it in towards the chest. And then slowly step that foot forward. If you need to, you can use the hand to walk it all the way up and lower the back knee down. So this is familiar. We've been here before, right, in our low lunge. This time we're going to take that back leg and we're going to swing it out. So the leg is going to be out. As you can see kind of from this angle, right? And then keeping this front foot, toes facing towards the front of the room. Inhale, lift the hands up. Oh, modified warrior two. So if you're not familiar with what a warrior two is, this is an easier version of our warrior two. So that leg is parallel to the back of the mat. These toes are facing the front of the room. And then we're going to reach the arms out nice and wide, spreading the shoulders out. Try to press the knee open towards the pinky toe. And then reach out through the fingers. And then settle a little bit deeper into that front thigh. Good, so you can lift the toes up, wiggle them a little bit. Find just soft movements in and out. Settle in from here, keep that bend. With an inhale, we're going to sweep our right hand back. That back hand's going to come to the thigh, or maybe to the ground if you can reach it, finding our little modified reverse warrior. So bend nice and deep into that front thigh. Reach up and back with the arm, find space in your side body. Last full breath in. And with a breath out, we're going to sweep the hands back down to frame the foot. Your back leg is going to come back to where it was before, so bring it back out long. And then just take a second to walk your right foot out. So foot to the outside, hands are to the inside. So our supported lizard lunge here. So now we're just going to focus on a little bit of stretching. You can stay right here with the hands underneath the shoulders. If you have a prop, you can grab the prop, you can bring it underneath the hands, or lower the forearms down. Maybe you're super, super open, and you can lower the forearms all the way down to the ground. So just depending on how your body feels here, find your own variation. You can always roll out onto the outer edge of the right foot, making sure we're curling the toes towards the shin. That's just going to help you protect your ankle. We always want to protect our joints. And then reaching the crown of the head towards the front of the room, trying to press the left hip towards the ground. So we're kind of trying to target that left hip flexor. And if you've lost your breath, come back to it here. exhale. Last breath in. Let it go. Good, foot comes back to center, so just start to wiggle, walk that foot back in. We're gonna tuck our back toes and lift our back knee up. So find that active back leg. And with an inhale, you're gonna reach the right leg high to a 3-leg dog, shake that. So modified variation, if you need to, you can stay down onto the knee and then just find little circles from your tabletop. So it doesn't have to be from your down dog if that doesn't feel good for you. We're just trying to shake out that hip. And then when you're ready, we're gonna come back to our downward facing dog. We just have one more side here, and then we're gonna stretch it out, I swear. From our down dog, inhale, left leg reaches high, 3-leg dog, pausing for a second. Pressing the right heel towards the ground. Inhale, lift that heel up. Exhale, hug it in. Round the spine as you hug and step the foot forward. Remember, you can use the hand to help it up and then lower that back knee down. From here, we're going to take the back leg, we're going to swing it out so that the shin is parallel to the back of the mat. Keeping the bend in that front thigh. If you need to modify the length of your stance, please do so. Inhale, sweep it up. Find that modified warrior two. Settle in. Noticing if you need to maybe walk that foot forward or maybe in, just depending on how this feels for you. And then settling in, reaching out. And we're going to pause for a couple of breaths, really opening up our hips here by pressing the knee out towards the pinky toe. Reaching those fingertips out. Imagine you want to pull the body apart in opposite directions and then settle in. Really feeling that little bit of fire in our quad here. Find your edge. Inhale, sweep the left hand back. Reverse your warrior. A little modified reverse warrior. We're facing the chest towards the side of the room. We're lifting up and lengthening through the side body, making sure we're not crunching too much into our back. Maybe lifting the gaze. That feels okay. Last full breath. Breath out, windmill the hands down. Leg comes back out long. Walk the foot out, the hands in. Find that lizard lunge. Make sure you're untucking the right toes, making sure that right leg is nice and long. And then making sure that that knee is not coming in front of the ankle. So if you notice that that knee is coming too far forward, so you can wiggle walk your foot a little bit further up. And then finding a couple of breaths here. So taking it further if you need to. Remember, you can use a prop underneath the forearms. You can stay up on the palms if this feels good right here. But finding your deep breaths. Maybe rolling out onto the outer edge of the foot. Pressing the hips down towards the ground. Reaching forward through the crown of your head. Full breath in. Deep breath out. Big inhale. Let it go. Last breath in. Big breath out. If you went somewhere else, foot back down, walk it into center. Remember, you choose. You can do this in your down dog or your tabletop. We're going to sweep that leg back and up, find some circles, shake it out. Getting some movement back into the joints, and then come back to your tabletop or your downward facing dog if you're there. Full breath in. And then the breath out will all meet into our tabletop. We're going to take a seat. We're going to swing our legs out in front of us. All right. So we're getting towards that last part of our practice, so we're cooling it down. We're going to stretch it out. We're going to start with the forward fold here. Soles of the feet come together. If then you need to, the feet can be forward. You can be more of a diamond shape here than a triangle. Finding our butterfly legs or our Baddha Konasana. And then the hands will grab either shins, ankles, or feet. There's no one place they need to be. Inhale, open up the chest. Exhale, start to pull the chest down towards the legs. Use the elbows to press the knees open. Staying here, making sure you're keeping the spine nice and long. So we're not rounding in, we're lengthening forward. We're pulling the shoulders back, and we're keeping the chin just slightly away from the chest. Imagine that you want to reach forward through the crown of the head, like you want to touch the crown of the head to the front of the room. And then if you want more of a forward fold, you're welcome to just walk the hands in front of you. So choices either using the elbows into the legs or walking them out long. Last breath here. And with an inhale, slowly lift the spine back up. Take the hands to the outside of the knees, pull the knees in towards each other, and then reach the legs out long. We're coming down into our spines. We're going to use our core just a little bit to get there, but scoot forward if you need to. Reach the arms forward, open the chest, deep breath in. And then just to a count of 5, slowly lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way down. You can find a full body stretch if that feels good. Anything else here that feels right for your body. And then pull the knees into the chest. Find some circles with your knees. So ending our practice where we started. Some familiar movements, noticing some differences from the beginning. And then the knees will come back to center. From here, we're going to keep the right knee in. We're going to allow the left leg to lengthen out. So right knee in, left leg comes out long. This is familiar here. Remember, you can always keep the sole of the foot if that feels better onto the mat. Or you can reach out long. We have been doing a bit of opening, so you might be feeling a little bit more ready for this stretch. You can stay here with the knee into the chest, or for a little bit more into the hip, you can roll that knee out. So knee coming out just opens up our hip a little bit more, so you choose here. But pull the knee in as tight as possible and relax the shoulders down towards the mat. Last breath in. Breath out, take the right knee, start to cross it over the body. Maybe slightly bumping the hips over towards the right. Reaching out through that right arm, finding your supine twist. And it's more important for the shoulder to be down than the knee. So it's okay if that knee is floating. If it's floating, you can grab a block and place it underneath. That feels a little bit better for you as well. For a little self-adjustment here, you can take your left hand and just slightly press onto your thigh. Just gonna help you just get a little bit deeper into that twist if you're feeling it. Gaze can come over the right shoulder for a little bit more as well. And we're starting to slow everything down here, so coming back to our natural breath, slowing down the heart rate and the mind, trying to prepare ourselves for our final rest. The knees come back into center. Pull them both in to neutralize your spine. Just for a moment, hugging them in tight. And then keeping the left knee in, allowing the right leg to reach out long. Pulling the knee in towards the chest. If you're craving more, hugging it out towards the armpit. Just to stretch out the hip. And just taking note, how does this feel different than it did when we we're in the beginning of our practice. Do you feel more open? Do you feel like you can hug that knee in a little bit tighter than you were able to before? I always like to come back to a similar posture at the end of the practice because it just helps you see what you've done in these 60 minutes. It helps you reflect back. And the last big breath in here. And with your breath out, start to cross the knee over the body, bumping the hips over, reaching out through the left arm, finding that supine twist. Same variations as the other side. Most important part is that the shoulders down. Maybe finding that self-adjustment, taking the right hand and just gently pressing down on the leg. So not forcing anything, right? Because that's going to help make us hurt ourselves. We're just gently pressing, like not putting too much pressure into the leg. Just to help get a little bit deeper into that twist. I always welcome you at this point in your practice. If you would like to, you can close the eyes. Keep them closed until the very end. And then coming back to center one final time. Pull the knees in nice and tight. Hug them into the chest. You can wrap the arms around the shins. Pull the nose up to the knees. Curl up to a tight little ball just for this last part. So squeeze it all in. Round the spine. And then find a full breath in, holding the breath at the top. Try to take in one more little sip of air. Exhale, open up, release to your Shavasana. You can have the legs out long. You can place the feet on the ground with the knees falling in. Wherever you are, try to become completely still. Take one last moment to get out any little movements that you need. Take up as much space as feels good. And then give yourself permission to just be here, to enjoy the rest, the relaxation. And I'll call you back when it's time. Notice if you benefit from a few more moments in Shavasana. You're welcome to stay here as long as you would like. If you are ready to reawaken and restart your day, start by finding movements into the hands and the feet. Waking up the muscles. Reach the arms long above you. Take a full body stretch, lengthen everything up. Knees come to the chest. Roll onto either side for your fetal position. You can use the bicep as a pillow for the head. When you're ready, pressing up to your seat. Finding your comfortable seat, crossing the legs, hands at heart center, eyes are closed, or gaze is soft down towards the ground. Take a moment to release all the air out of the lungs. And then finding your fullest breath of class, filling up all the way. Open the mouth, clear it out. Taking a moment here to show yourself gratitude for taking time to show up on your mat, for taking time for your practice, and most importantly, for taking some time for you. Show gratitude to all those who are in their houses practicing alongside you. And I'm grateful that you all came to practice with me this Monday morning. From my heart to each and every one of yours, namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you enjoyed your gentle flow. Maybe you got some good stretching in that you needed, some relaxation, and I hope it's a great start to your day. It's always a great way to start is on your mats. I always feel like it puts me in a great mood. It helps me prepare for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. And if you're feeling like joining us for our next practice, we're going to be having a power vinyasa class with Dan here at noon on our Facebook Live. So please join us for our little lunchtime power. He's gonna kick your butt. You're gonna get a really good workout. It'll be a lot opposite of this. So if you're feeling really good after today and you're feeling like taking it up a notch with Dan, please join us tomorrow. And from all of us at Shangri-La Hot Yoga, thank you for joining us and have a wonderful rest of your day and week. Namaste.